Here we are.
Here we are.
So thank you for coming by. I wanted to catch up with you because last time we had a session, we did some editing. And the editing was because of comments that people put on YouTube. People question what you say. They listen to every word and they dissect it and make notes and everything. And I know that you are very, very conscious about all of the comments. You want to talk about that, how those comments affect you?
Well, and it doesn't matter how it affects me. I'm trying to get it, we're trying to do some good work here. So if you're trying to do good work, and you see somebody getting angry or upset about it, you know that there's something they have to work through. And it just kind of, it's not like it irritates me, but it just makes me wonder what more I could do to get through to these people that don't understand. But like I said before, they're still in children's days, so I can't really, sometimes people say stuff, you're like, oh boy, what's that all about, but I can't take it personally because this is, it's hurtful, but it's like a personal journey too. So it's helped me, any feedback is good because negative feedback makes you think more about, what that person's going through, and you just kind of want to reach out to them and send some love or whatever.
Yes.
But it's upsetting. I'm here to help. That's all I want to do.
So because Sabrina has put out some information about volcanoes, earthquakes, things that are happening in the future, kind of like prophecies, I know that you're very careful with what you say, and sometimes you hold back. And this last time we did have to edit something out because it didn't make sense.
No.
So let's talk about what happened. The last session was because we were planning a trip to do an event in Hawaii. And from the get-go, Sabrina, you were totally, you weren't with it.
For over a year, I was been saying, you need to go to Hawaii. There's something you got to do in Hawaii. And something in the back of my mind. I always call it something, and it's a little angel on my right shoulder, and I named it something. Yeah. Because something kept telling me that something happened, something happened. And then I thought, well, maybe it's because of, when they started talking about volcanoes, I was like, okay, it's a fear factor. I didn't really think about the volcanoes to begin. I was just like, no, Hawaii, no. And I kept thinking, why do I keep thinking no? But it wasn't me saying no. Something was going to stop it from happening. And I felt that way from the first time she brought it up. And I didn't want to be given resistance to, a wonderful thing. But at the same time, I'm still learning, to be brave about what comes through with me. Because I got so much trouble growing up.
So in this session, she saw her, we addressed the issue about why she was so afraid of volcanoes.
Right.
And it ended up, she said Pompeii.
Yes.
But she also said that she was on an island.
Yes. Okay.
And we edited that out because Pompeii is not on an island.
Because it didn't make sense.
Right.
Because, here's the thing. I can jump from one timeline to another like a split second. When I was in my near-death experience, I was all over the place. Time means nothing outside of this realm. Okay, time is all over the place. So here I was having this whole Pompeii experience. I'm grabbing these children. I'm running from certain doom, and there's a volcano erupting. Then all of a sudden, I'm saying I'm on an island and things are on fire and we're trying to get to the water and there's pieces of rock that are on fire coming after me. So it was real confusing because I'm thinking, okay, wait a minute, is that from the volcano and where are the children? And I'm running to the water. And then I asked Alba later, I was like, is Pompeii on an island? And she said, I don't know. So I had to look it up. I always have to do research after these things because I don't know what it is, you know. And so I looked it up. I said, girl, Pompeii and anywhere near being on an island. I thought it was that whole island on fire thing. And, you know, I kept thinking, what did I do with the children? Because then I popped right back in to the Pompeii situation and us going to the light and me talking to the children. So it's just this weird interjection of something else.
Yeah.
But, you know, when you're coming out of hypnosis, you're kind of in la la land. And I mean, I've done it multiple times to the point that I know it's going to take me a couple of days to digest things and research things and figure things out. Okay. So you can't just take it all as gospel immediately because there's a lot of factors to the stuff that's going on in my sessions. It ain't normal. So, you know, I got home and I was like, well, what's that? And she said, well, you know, maybe it was just something got, you know, sometimes people get things wrong and stuff. And I was like, well, let's just take it out because it's confusing, you know, because it just that didn't match up with the whole Pompeii. Because I was Pompeii, then there was this fire and getting off an island, then there was Pompeii again. So it really was confusing.
And the children.
And the children, like, where were these kids? Because I was like, where are the children? And then all of a sudden I'm talking to the children in heaven. Okay, so I mean, the whole thing, it took me a minute to do the math on it. And so we decided, well, we don't know what to do with it. It'll confuse other people like it's confused me and her. So let's just take that out. We'll just edit that out, you know, figure it out later. Well, then here's this Maui thing happening in Lahaina. And they're all talking about it being on fire. They're talking about chunks of fire. I'm getting chills thinking about it. I mean, I'm almost crying. And they're talking about running into the water. And I was like, bam! I mean, it was like, that's what I saw.
The ground has been rumbling, and then we know something's happening. And we're on a small island off the coast of Italy.
Are you male or female there?
I'm female, but I'm really big and strong.
Okay.
And
Do you live on that island?
I do live on that island. I'm a farmer of some kind. I work real hard. I toil the field, so I'm strong.
What island is this?
P, begins with a P.
Mm-hmm.
Pompeii.
Okay. And what happens next?
Well, the ground is rumbling big time, and there's this huge explosion. I mean, huge. It rattles everything, and we're all running. We're trying to outrun it and run to the water or whatever. Everybody's running like ants. Mm-hmm. And it's so fast. There's no outrunning it. We're gone. We're gone. That's it. I grabbed those two children, and we were done. There was lava everywhere. It was quick.
Mm-hmm. So what happens to your soul?
I'll come out and I see all the destruction.
Mm-hmm.
And I went straight to the light. I didn't even want to hang around. I just went straight to the light.
Okay.
I wish I could have saved those babies.
All right, very good. So I want you to take a moment now and speak to the souls of those two babies. What do you say to them?
I'm so sorry.
Talk to them.
You're so young.
Yes. And talk to their parents.
I tried, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it was history. It was historical.
Yes.
It was a message.
Yes.
We were all part of a big message.
Mm-hmm. What do they say to you, these children?
They said, it's okay. I mean, we signed up for this.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
So
You
now,
know, that interjected. I went from a timeline way in the past to a timeline in the future. and then a timeline in heaven. I mean, I was all over the place. And it's, you know, Alba is great, but I mean, how could she moderate that? How can anybody, you know, because that's what we're dealing with. You got to figure it out. We're figuring out life as we go. Even the super natural stuff, you know, we're only human and we're limited in our processes. So, you know, I said, how about, you know, it just haunted me. It's haunted me. I've been just really weird about watching the hang of things. I mean, there's a lot of things that just keep coming to me when I'm watching it.
It's almost like you were there.
Yeah, and I mean, it just hit me hard. And then, you know, everybody was planning on still going, and everything in me said, we can't go. We can't go to the dress. So there was a lot of discussion about it before, you know, I decided to pull the plug. It was a very, and there was some division here and there, you know, but it was something that we can't go. And I couldn't go because I'd be reliving it. And when I have these kind of projection into the future things over my lifetime, there was horrific things that I saw. Sometimes it was with a friend or a family, and sometimes it was a huge something happening on the other side of the earth. And even if I could warn people, it went on their ears because this was going to happen. Okay, and I just have a sensitivity to it. I can go in and out of that veil because I have traveled through the veil, and it took me reading Dr. Moody's books and actually talking to him about it. That Dr. Wayman Moody.
Tell everybody about that experience. I think a lot of people don't know what happened to you.
What?
About when you went across the veil.
You're definitely, that's a 3-year story.
Let's grab a beer.
It's just that afternoon that way. Well, you know, here's the thing.
Just
Briefly, I fell 33 feet out of a tree.
How old were you?
I was 8 years old. And I came out of my body right before I hit a limb. I saw it like it was like a movie. And then you see the close up, you know, like they do in the movies where I hit the limb and zoom into the close up. I saw a little nail go through my neck and stuff like that. But when I was on the ground, I was looking at my body like it was just a jacket on the floor. But I realized that as I described it as a child, I was bubble filled with jello. That's how I put it. But I was an orb. I could see all around me at once. I could see in multiple dimensions all at once. I could read people's minds and prayers running towards the scene of the accident. I was shown all knowledge, remembered who I was, why I was here, why I picked the parents I had on the earth at this time. And then I'm talking to somebody in heaven in the light, and I'm drawn to the light like I don't want to go back. And there was a lot of profound things that came to me, you know, things about earth and life on earth and a mother's love and just all kinds of things. That I don't know how long I was there, but boy, I had a full on. I was told that I had a mission. I needed to come back, and I had this urgency to, you know, accomplish this mission. Because I was 8 years old. I studied a whole lot of verbiage, the dictionary, to the point that I ended up in the National Spelling Bee just so I could describe with, instead of little 8-year-old layman terms, what I went through, because I was discussing quantum physics with people that didn't understand what I was talking about. You know, I was talking about the God particle before anybody knew what that was. I was blowing the minds of some Catholic and a priest, you know, because I was channeling. I started channeling almost right away after that. So I was doing astral travel. I was a medium. I was channeling my guardian angel and Archangel Michael, and I could tell people on life and death. I knew life and death, so I could see other people dying on the other side of the planet. I could tell somebody when they were going to have a baby. Because there's more mass deaths than mass births. So much more mass births that would be. But, you know, it was things like that. Small children and small animals. I have a magnetism for them. I build watches, multiple. I have
You affect technology all the
I
time.
really wig out some technology,
Mhm.
so I have to be grounded.
Mhm.
So
We gotta make sure that's being
I
recorded.
know, touch some metal. Because yeah, I can wig out stuff in the grocery store, the bank, whatever, you know. So I have a magnetic. I've had curling photography, and I had a stronger pulse coming out of me than Yuri Geller, is what they told me. So, you know, but they said you got it cut right off like you're holding it back, and I was.
How old were you then?
I was I think it was like 17 when
Wow.
I had curling photography the first time.
Wow.
And it was just full on energy coming off of me. And then, you know, there's things like when I was studying Reiki, how other people study Reiki, I mean, my hands would be pushed off and things like that. So I know there's an energy. I've been in sessions with other colleagues where everything went down, even the pack of batteries I just bought wasn't even open, you know. So you know, I can, it's like I'm not in control. I'm still trying to, you know, learn how to control it and figure it out. This is
Kind of
what
learning how to drive your own body.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's you know, since I've met Alba, the journey's been, you know, on the right path with me figuring all that out. So bear with me. It's a crazy trip.
Yeah.
But yeah, we did when we got together, and so we really want to let people know that. But it's a mysterious
Yeah. Yeah.
thing we're dealing with.
Yeah, and your mediumship has kind of blown up
Yeah.
ever since we came back
From LA.
from LA.
Yeah.
And we talked about LA in our last interview about what happened there, and now you're having people contact you or souls contact you.
Yes. So I haven't learned how to get that balanced out. And then there's activity in the house and things like that. And then I signed up to take a course at Arthur Findlay College. It's like it's like some kind of Harry Potter business in Essex, in England, and the teacher got mad at me. Because I was using what I thought it was a mediumship course. I'm using it. And she's like, no, you're not supposed to do that. And I mean, I gave 2 readings to 2 people, and they were like blown away. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
it's like she was already doing the work.
yeah,
before.
I think I intimidated the teacher on it too. So I felt bad about that because that really irritated me because I was using the tools she was giving me and it helped a lot, you know. So, but anyway, so there's not a lot of books on the books. You know, I've read a lot of books on it, and they don't seem to help what's going on with me. So this right here has helped me more because I know that I'm on a mission and God's given me this gift for a reason. I came back for a reason. I've been spared from death multiple times. That's should have died. First year women about that. And I know that all those 1,000 points of light have brought me to what we're doing. So, you know, I don't want to feel guilty about doing it, you know, because it's important.
Yeah. And I don't I have to follow my own gut too. And when I feel that I need to do something, I have to do it. And I've learned also to not hold back when I need some information. It's not information for me. It's just I think this is a mission that we're on. I'm here together.
Yes.
And we don't quite know what the mission is. We're just doing it. We're just evolving with this mission, whatever it is.
Yeah. Please don't be hard on us. We're trying to figure it out.
We're trying to figure out ourselves too,
You know?
what we're trying to do. But I know that through Sabrina, I've learned a lot about myself. And things are changing with me too. So, you know, we're both on the path. You are too. We are all evolving. We're all changing. And I'm not the same person I was last month or the month before. You know, we keep changing and changing. So
we're all growing and awakening together.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think we all are as a group. And I was talking to a client not too long ago about my journey, and it seems that I started off my life pretty calm. I had great parents. They were more like grandparents. They were just wonderful to me. Never raised a voice, never raised a hand to me. I was treated mostly like a ceramic doll, afraid to break me because I was so sensitive. I was intimidated by everything. Everything made me scared. And so I grew up in that timid observer type of world, never mixed in with anybody. The first time I ever met someone who I got along with was when I was 6 in the first grade. And I attracted the misfits like me. So we were like, for the friends, the misfit group, if like all growing up, we were the ones that didn't quite fit in. And that's how I grew up. And if anybody would have voted me in school, it would have probably been, it would have been, someone who wouldn't have made it in life because I really didn't find my way in life. And it took me decades to find my way. Okay. I'm sliding into 67 years right now. And it's been an incredible change decade after decade of how I've changed too. And I realize that we have all written a script for our own life. And that everything that we've gone through was a necessary experience for the next evolution and the next evolution. And when I look back and I think, wow, who could have come up with that insanity? You've told me so many stories of your life, and I think about my life, and it's like, how do we even come up with stuff?
Right.
But we had to go through it because I wouldn't be the therapist I am now if I hadn't gone through some of this stuff. So when people sit across from me and they say, I'm going through this or that, it's like, I don't say I've been there, done that, but I can understand.
Got her shoes off. I'm seeing on a couple of times. There's no sign.
So, this is part of the evolution. This is the spiritual evolution.
Right.
So I think that,
you got to go through a few passages to get to the end,
And it's feeling really exciting. I think things are really going much faster. So what do we want to work on today?
Well, first we were listening. I was listening to. You haven't even posted that one.
No. Yeah, well, let me start with that. I had a session, and I said, Sabrina, this was really interesting. I've changed. It wasn't so much about the client, but I've done some changes in my session. And you want to listen to it? She says, yeah. So I listened to it, and there was a part in there where I asked, who am I speaking with? And what did you get?
There was a big pause before this lady answered. And boy, I'm sitting there in my office listening to this, and there's this pause, and I kept hearing, and I heard Elohim. He said it with a different voice. But I heard Elohim, and I was like, don't you know what? I've been listening to this thing with Alba, and it said, Elohim, say Elohim. And after the third time, I was like, okay, Alba, you gotta pause it. I'm hearing Elohim. And you know what it's mean? Like what I said, I don't know what that is really. I think it has something to do with angels. But we kind of tried to look at it, and it was so deep. We were like, I can't read that right now.
Yeah, Wikipedia had just too much.
I got those scholars at Yale to look at that stuff. I was like, that's too much for me right now. It's been a long day, so
we want to dive into what
so she goes, don't look it up. We'll see, we'll do a session and find out about that. I was like, that's interesting. Because okay, the thing about the Arthur Findlay College, okay, I gotta go back to that for a second. Because it's all a Zoom thing. So there's like 36 people in the class, right? And so I couldn't see all of them, but this woman gives us a little tutelage here, and then she pairs us off and puts us in these other, cyber rooms or whatever. And the first bill I got, we're supposed to be reading each other. And I could be sitting there trying to read somebody, and all of a sudden, boom, there's your dad that died of cancer. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, but I've seen your dad. And, I know. So anyway, but both of them said something. Now, one girl, the first one was from New York, State, and then the next one was in southern Germany. These girls don't know each other. But both of them said, I see you having something happen when you were a child, and that you have been really connected with this light. There's this light from above. Both of them used that terminology, which I thought, well, that's crazy. That's interesting, But the German girl said the same thing. You had something happen when you were a child, and you've been very connected with this light from above ever since. And I really am. I know I'm connected. I've had psychics tell me you're surrounded by Poochie, the little cheer of angels. You've got angels all around you. They always start out with this angel business, and I'm like, okay, because that was the first time I stood up when I was channeling against the nuns. I don't say against them, but they were like, where did that information come from when I channeled something? And I said, from Ezekiel. And I said, who's Ezekiel? And I said, that's my guardian angel. And they said, that's an infinite mystery. That's the Catholics. You're not supposed to know your guardian angel's name. And I said, well, what if my guardian angel said my name is Ezekiel to me? What am I supposed to do? What happened? Did I mess something up?
No, we have no microphone.
So Sabrina just zapped our mics.
Sorry, I was talking about angels.
So we don't know how far we've talked without it, but anyway, we were
Anyway.
talking about angels.
Yeah, because when I was a kid, the first time I remember channeling, first there was this big boomy male voice came out of me the first time, and that was it was saying something about the Catholic Church I probably shouldn't say, and the nuns were freaked out, and they said, whose voice was that? Who was telling us that? Because they were really, panicking. And I said, that was Ezekiel. And they said, who's Ezekiel? I said, my guardian angel. And they said, well, that's an infinite mystery, because that's what they're programmed to say, and that you're not supposed to know your guardian angel's name. And I said, well, what if my guardian angel said, my name is Ezekiel? What do I do?
Yeah.
So that was the first time I realized that something weird was going on, and people might not, because a couple of the nuns ran out of the room. When they heard the voice, there was 5 of them standing there.
Wow.
And a couple of them ran out of the room. So I was like, oh, I'm freaking out adults, and I thought I was going to get in trouble.
Little.
I was 8,
That's amazing.
I was a kid. And, so here's this man's voice coming out saying some really heavy duty stuff that it took me years to understand.
What kind of stuff were you talking about? Do you know?
They were asking me some real heavy duty Catholic questions. They were Irish nuns. And this question in particular, I feel like I'll get in trouble. But they said, is Catholicism the one true church? And this big booming, it like almost echoed off the walls. Male voice came out of my little broken body at 8 years old. I was crippled. I was paralyzed from the neck down at that point. And he said, Catholicism was a political organization of the pagan masses. Now, at 8 years old, I had no idea what that meant at all. It took me years, to figure that out. But it freaked those nuns out. I got a really crazy reaction, and I thought, I'm going to get in so much trouble. And I can't run and hide. I'm paralyzed from the neck down. So,
You saying something?
yeah, there's a big bird just landed. There's
Oh,
always a
okay.
bird landed right outside the window, and I get here. But anyway, so That was the first time I remember
Channeling.
channeling, and it was so strange and upsetting to people that it became a thing, but I did it a lot. And then next thing you know, my dad was counseling with our parish priest, and converted him to Catholic to go to a Jesuit college. He was a Southern Baptist, so he could study theology. He studied engineering, but he studied theology and theosophy to try to understand what his busted up little kid was talking about. So
Wow.
it was a real life-changing event, for the whole family and our parish, and
And
so
you've told me stories about your father buying you the globe.
yeah, because
Talk
I
to me.
would
Talk to them
tell them,
about that.
listen, I saw something that happened on this part of the planet, and my dad would go, where? And I had maps all over my room, because I was always talking about things on the other
Was this
places.
when you were sleeping?
Yeah, I think I was astral traveling. I was really doing some moving around, and I would have these nightmares. I'd wake up in the middle of the night talking about something horrible that happened on the other side of the planet. And the media was not like it is today. I mean, it took a few days for it to get there.
Yeah.
And my dad ended up buying a globe for me, and I would spin the globe and go, this is where it was. And volcanoes, especially earth changing, like the surface of the earth changing events, I would be there when that happened, and I would also talk about, here I'm a kid, and meanwhile, I'm going through all kinds of uh, strange medical procedures, to heal me and stuff like that. So they would try to, but it wasn't any drugs, or it was pituitary glands injected in my spine. But anyway, so I'm going, that volcano, when the stuff came out of it, that stuff came outside of the earth onto the ground outside. So I was talking about weight displacement, okay? When that came out of the earth over here, there's something happened with the earth, and it moved, well, it was readjusting, and I would talk about a lot of people dying, children starving. There was the children starving. I saw that a lot. War. I saw wars, so this was a lot I mean, my childhood was over at 8, so, but my dad, we ended up with a bunch of globes. Then he bought a globe with a bar in it. What? All right, okay. Let me have me some bourbon while I listen to this stuff, But anyway, it was nice. It was big. But anyway, I like that globe because it was bigger. Now you can look on TV and they got 3D stuff. And I wish I had that when I was a kid, because I could say, that's what I'm talking about, But yeah. And I'd know, when somebody like phone calls, I still do that. I don't need a special ring. I know it's who's calling, that kind of thing. I think women do that. I think we all know that.
One of the things that came up in one of your sessions, and a lot of people started interpreting these numbers that you came up.
Oh, the August thing?
Yeah. August of 24 is what you
first it was 23, and then it was 24.
No, I think you said 824 or something there, or was it?
I don't know. We were trying to figure out the end of the world or something.
Yeah, in the session she said something about 824, right?
Yes.
And so everybody was trying to figure out, is that August?
August 24th, August 2024.
Right. So tell everybody what happened on August 24th of 2023.
Oh, I had the most blessed day I've had in years. I mean, every synchronicity was in place. The craziest stuff happened. I don't want to go into all the details.
Yeah, it's personal.
It's personal, but I mean, from the time I woke up, everything, if you've ever had one of those days where you get every green light, you get every good parking spot, you just walk in right at the right time to get something done. extras are thrown at you, good feelings, people are happy. Every little synchronicity, like I was building this thing out of this thing that was in my yard forever, and finally drug it to a corner. And I was like, you know what? I think I can take these panels that had been on the wall. They might fit. They fit perfectly. Got them all down there. And then I said, I can just screw them on there. And I found a box of screws that had exactly the right amount of screws. It's just a million weird little miracles
On that one day.
in one day. And then the divorce thing it went really, I'd had the roughest year or so, and it all just went really
Yeah.
smooth at the lawyer's office, where I just couldn't believe that happened. I mean, it was friendly. It wouldn't have, a few months before, it would not have gone down like that,
Yeah.
but I'd been doing a lot of praying on it, and we actually were very friendly about it. And he's still my emergency contact, and I'm his, and everything was, I'm actually going to use the lawyers to do a new will and stuff like that. So it all was just so pleasant the whole day. And I was like, hey, you know what? And I saw the date later, and I was like, Alba, August 24th. It has been the most
Yeah.
incredible day. Everything that could go right went right. Every little nuancy possible thing that could go, it was just a blessed day
Yeah.
from beginning to end.
So for those of you who think something is going to happen in August of 2024,
It was personal.
it was personal. So take that off your list.
My world changed.
Yeah.
The world changed, but you can't talk about the end of the world and give it a date.
Right.
Okay. I kept saying, Alba, you asking this? And whenever she'd ask that, they were like, it'll be a twinkling in an eye. You need to be ready for it any given moment.
Yeah.
You need to make peace with everybody all day long. You need to say, I love you to your children and your family before you hang up or walk out the door. All of this means something. If you had the date, you'd be a jerk all until to go to confession the day before. You know what I mean? So we should all be ready for the end, because you never know.
Well, look at what happened just recently. So, yeah, every day should be the best
I
day
got choked up.
that you can make.
Mhm.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
So we're going to talk about the angels and
Excuse
anything
me.
else that you want to hone in on,
Yeah.
whatever happens.
Yeah. I mean, we kind of play it by ear anyway, don't we? I mean,
Mhm.
I've learned not to go in saying what I need.
Yeah.
Or what I want, because what I need is going to come through.
It never happens, even if I go in with certain expectations, it
Oh,
never happens. When I do these sessions, and any session that I've done in the last few years, I'm it's going to be 10 years now that I've been doing
Oh, wow.
pretty soon. I go in there just, I buckle my seatbelt
Yeah.
and we don't know
Enjoy the ride.
where this ride is going to take us. And
Well, it's gotten to the point,
have
it's not about me anymore. It's whatever helps other people.
And people have questions about their life, and it's the way I do my sessions, not about answering questions. It's about topics. Let's focus in on this topic and see what we get.
Mhm.
It's not about what direction should I go to next, because you are writing the script of your life, and there's a reason why you don't know what's happening next, because then you wouldn't be doing it,
Right.
Yeah. So
We're in school.
we're at school. I wonder if I should share what was written to me by my guidance.
Yeah. Yes.
All right. Okay, so I'm going to tell you this. I have been doing automatic writing since 1988. At that time, I picked up a pen. I had been reading the books of Ruth Montgomery, who did automatic writing. She wrote many books, and I kind of wanted to know what was in the spirit world, and wanted to do what she did. I ended up going to a meditation group was totally put off by it because that's never been my thing. I meditate when I'm doing this. I meditate when I'm gardening. I can't sit still and just meditate. That's just not my thing. And this was, what, 40 years ago, I guess?
Mhm. That was a long time back.
Long time back. So I learned a technique that they showed me. And I said, if I take that technique and maybe I could just pick up a pen, I can see what comes through.
Right.
All right, my stuff always starts with greetings, child of the universe. We are one. And I always wondered who one is. So I'm always questioning. So this is how this one starts. Behold the power that you hold. Behold how you feel the direction in your gut. The events that are on your doorstep will not affect you in the same manner as it will affect others. You are positioned in the perfect place at this time. You are always guided. You are always guided, and you will always be called to be exactly where you're needed. Do not worry, do not despair, do not question how it happens, because your human mind cannot figure it out. And then I was questioning, are you guys aliens? And it says, we are not aliens. We're you. We will give you an example so that you can comprehend. Because of all of the experiences you have lived, you are wise and you have the patience to listen to others who are going through situations similar to what you've been through. You have empathy, but know with every fiber of your being that they will eventually overcome their problem and that they will evolve and gain wisdom. You have confidence in what you do and what you advise because you have lived it and have healed from it. Now imagine if every version of you, the baby, the child, the teenager, the girlfriend, the wife, the executive, the berated one, the low self-esteem one, the powerful one, the poor one, the tortured one, the mother of a baby, a toddler, a child, a teenager, a successful son, a divorced woman, a successful woman, an independent, happy, and grateful woman, an older, aging woman, a woman with pains, a woman facing possible death. Imagine if all of those versions of you were to give advice. We are one. We are all of those versions of you. And we are even more of that. We are the future versions of you. The you that has not lived yet. That is why we give you wise advice. That is why we guide you. That is why we know that your future is bright. And there is nothing to worry about. All of those years we have guided you. We are in the future, and you are all that we have lived. We are one. We are all of you bundled into the future version of you. I'm getting teary-eyed. You want to know the future, but we will not tell you because it is up to you to live it.
Mhm.
All the highs and the lows, all the worry, guilt, excitement, fear, all of it is life. And it's so delicious. It is so delicious. Delicious to live life. We will tell you this. You have great power and influence many. Remain humble. Remain humble. That's it.
That's awesome. The whole time you were reading that, you had a golden aura going on.
And that,
Yeah, it's
maybe
real.
that's who one is.
Yeah.
So this is what keeps me sane is my writings when I need something. But I'm never given future stuff. I'm
Mm.
basically just kind of pat on the head, say,
Yeah.
you're going to be okay.
Because you're the author.
Yeah.
Of the future.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So,
It's
when-
what you do with what you've got in front of you.
right.
Is what's.
So some people may say, well, that's your higher self. I don't like to label names like that. I would prefer to go with what I've been given, that this is all of me,
Mm-hmm.
and that all of me is guiding me. And it is hard for our human mind to figure it out.
Right. We're limited.
So when someone goes into hypnosis, they are also channeling that one of them that has lived everything and will live everything.
Mm-hmm.
So
And others.
and others.
Yeah.
So thank you all for watching, and we will connect with you next during our session. Much
Here we
love
go.
to you. See you soon.
Thanks for listening.
Bye-bye.
Appreciate it. Bye-bye.
Bye.